In this video, we're going to go over coding problem 4.5.4, which goes over dictionaries. And this problem wants you to write a function called modify dict. Modify dict takes in a dictionary, and the dictionary keys are people's last names, values are their first names. So basically, this modify dict function should delete any key value pair where the keys, so the last names, first letter is not capitalized. So there's a couple of built-in functions that will be super helpful for this. One of them is dot is upper, and we'll, as we go through, you'll see what this does. So let's go ahead and just write the function header as always. So def modify dict, and we take in a dictionary. So there's a couple of different ways we can go ahead and tackle this problem. What I'm thinking is if you create a list of all of the keys that does not have a capitalized first letter, and then after we loop through the whole dictionary and get all the keys that don't have uppercase first letters, we can just loop through that list and delete them from your dictionary up top. So we don't actually have to create a brand new dictionary for this, we just have to create a list. So let's call this no uppercase list. So let's just make an empty list right now. We'll just append to it. So first we have to loop through the dictionary and figure out which ones don't have an uppercase first letter in the key. So if we just do a for loop, so we can do for last name in my dict. So by doing this for loop, Python just will naturally just loop through all the keys. So if you look at the example down here, it's gonna go through the first one, then the second one, and so on. But eventually it's gonna loop through all of them. So there we have our for loop. So now we want to check if the first letter is upper or not. Because if it's not, we want to append it to the no uppercase list. So all we have to check is the first letter. So the first letter would be at last name at index 0. So that gets the first letter in the key. So we'll want to check if last name is not upper. So to check if it's upper or not, we can use the built-in isUpper function like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. And this function just returns a Boolean value whether or not this function, this thing you passed in, so in this case it would be the first letter of the key because we're indexing into it at index 0 for the last name, is upper or not. So if it is, it's going to return true. If it's not, then it's going to return false. So in this case, we want to check if it's not upper. So if not last name dot is upper, index 0, then we want to append that last name. So it's just my list dot append last name. Cool. So if it is, we don't have to worry about it. So after this for loop, we're going to have a list of all the last names that are not uppercase. So now we can just take this information and loop through this no uppercase list. So no uppercase list, and for let's go name in no uppercase list. And if it's in there, then we want to delete it from the dictionary. So we can just modify the dictionary passed in. Because we have access to it throughout the whole function, we just modify it and eventually return it. So we just delete it from the my dict that got passed in, and then after it loops through the whole no uppercase list, then all the last names with no uppercase first letters should be deleted. So after that for loop, I can just return my dict because we just modified it right there. We didn't have to create a new dictionary, and that should give you what all of the names with an uppercase first letter and last name. So let's submit this and see how we did. Oh, okay. So there seems to be something wrong with this code. So let's go ahead and try to debug it. So it says my list is not, oh. So I just put my list here, but it should be no uppercase list. So that would be a syntax error. Let's try to submit it again and see what happens. So it says my dict is, so we're going to debug this real fast. So right here it says local variable my dict is referenced before assignment. So the issue is right here. So my dict, when you go delete it, it doesn't really know like what you want to delete. So right now it's just like, oh, well, my dict delete the whole dictionary, but it can't do that. So when you're deleting from a dictionary, you need to give it the key and then have it like index into the key per se. So in this case, we have to give it the key you want it to delete, so it's name. So now that will get rid of the whole key value pair. So let's submit it one last time. And there you go. So there's a solution to coding problem 4.5.4, and good luck.